One of the very first tasks I get every single client to do is a time audit, because universally my clients tell me that they're far too busy, and I do not doubt that for a second. Yet I know from my own experience and the results of working with over 100 agency owners at this time and doing 100 comparable audits that none of us is being fully effective with our time. In fact, when the light is shone on the activities that every single one of us will undertake as an MD, as a CEO, as a creative director, a technical lead, it's often clear to see that our priorities are not aligned with our goals, and how our current weighting, which we're actually working on, is working against these and not for them. A few weeks ago, I had one business owner who noted that they spent 2 full days in 1 week on payroll, chasing debtors, and reconciling their accounts. And while I will admit that this is an incredibly important feature of anyone's business, some of these tasks should actually be automated and others should be outsourced entirely at a much cheaper rate than what you would charge as your hourly rate. So tonight we're talking about time audits. And what is the opportunity cost of this? Well, 2 days in admin focused on tasks that contributed a low value to the growth of the business, to the profitability of their agency, it's car crash. They spent less time supporting their team, less time meeting with clients, and less time looking at the processes that will scale their business, because they were in the middle of doing the tasks that somebody else should be doing. When I sold my business, I had a meeting with the group financial director, and it was eye-opening because a heap of the tasks that I just did as the MD were taken off me without a second glance. Looking for insurance quotes? Gone. HR? Gone. Supplier payments and agreements? No longer my responsibility. Payroll? Well, it was gone as well. Yet, these were the tasks that I busied myself with for years prior. Why? Because I was only one of 2 people in the business who could actually do them. And the reality is that my time was the most expensive in the business, and I was spending far too much of it on low value tasks. And of course, I am respectful that some of you don't want other people in your zero account. You keep full control of your bank accounts, and that is totally fine. I did exactly the same, but there are some tasks within each of these functions that you do each week, and while it's a necessity that you have access to your accounts, some of the information could be passed over to somebody else or a third party without breaking any confidence. And the time audit will shine a light upon these. So, how do we conduct a successful time audit? I'm confident you could make this as convoluted a process as you want, but I am simple and I prefer simple, because simple usually gets done. And so if you're working with me in the past and you've heard me talk about this, I have created a Google Sheet which is linked in the video below, but please feel free to create your own if it's going to be easier for you to manage. The Google Sheet will have 5 tabs along the bottom, Monday through Friday, and in each of those tabs is a timeline from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. down the left hand side. Beside the time, the second column is reserved for the task that you have completed, and the third column across is to identify if this is an essential task to you or one that's discretionary, and I want you to be absolutely ruthless. Finally, there's a column for notes on the 4th column to the right. What I ask all of my clients to do is to take next week, to take this week, and to be mindful to document the time audit. Write this in your diary, prompt yourself daily, and add yourself tasks in the calendar to complete this, because I appreciate it's not your normal routine. Whatever it takes to ensure you complete this for all of the tasks you complete in a single week or a single period of days. Now, you can go as granular as you want in this, but just general topic areas works just fine as well. What we're going to do is add in client meetings, staff meetings, for example, admin such as HR, payroll, finances, chasing debt, service delivery if you're still in service delivery, personal time, because that's important too, sales and marketing activities, or business growth activities. Whatever you choose to document, make sure you document them in a manner that you will understand. And the tasks that you will complete will of course be unique to your situation and to the needs of your business. But the next element starts to identify whether or not that these tasks should be your tasks or your tasks just because you do them, because you always have done so. Beside each task recorded, I want you then to consider whether or not this was essential to you or it was not. Why are you doing this task? What would happen if you pass this task on to someone else? Does this bring you closer to your goals, or would the time be better spent on something that is actually going to help you achieve them? Otherwise, was this wasted time? If it's essentials, are all elements relevant to you? Are you holding on parts of these tasks because it's just easier and quicker to do them yourself? Of course, there will be tasks like this, but you must keep as a director of the business, but be completely, as I've said before, ruthless here. Should this be your responsibility now, and will it be your responsibility in the future? And these are the discretionary tasks that you should eliminate, automate, or delegate. And I appreciate that that is easy for me to say, but the opportunity cost of retaining ownership of these tasks is that you're not working in the business. No, you're not working on the higher value projects in your business. You're doing the busy work rather than being productive, if you're honest. In short, it's taking you further away from your goals and not closer to them. Okay, so after you determine what should happen with each task, it's time to build a plan to pass them over. Okay, some of these will obviously require handover docs. Others will require full systems to be implemented, and others will need SOPs directed. But you have to build a plan, and to do this, you need to focus on freeing up your time. So, what then do we do with the free time that we've now just created out of our diaries? Well, there's no agency owner that I've ever spoken to who doesn't either want more money or more freedom in their business. And if we're completely honest with ourselves, some of us want both. We need to critically review our priorities and identify which tasks that we're not currently doing or currently doing have the greatest likelihood of getting us towards our goals. If your goal is to increase your revenue, dedicating time to selling is critical. If you want more freedom in your business, you might need to focus acutely on the systems and the operating procedures in your business. Whatever it is you want to achieve, figuring out your new non-negotiable tasks and dedicating the time to them daily is absolutely critical. And this isn't something that you just will set and forget today forevermore. It can be revisited at any time, and it should be amended based on the goals and the changing nature of your business. But the constant awareness of the productive time that delivers your goals is the key.